Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I have a couple of chiropractic content experts with me, my lovely colleagues, Erica and Marky. We are going to talk today about crafting a connection using authentic content to build trust and attract and convert more new patients. So Erica and Marky, if you guys want to introduce yourself real quick, tell us a little bit about your specialty.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Erica McCormick, and I have been with Perfect Patients now for 9 years. I am the manager of content and website building and editing, and I'm super excited to talk all things content today. I like to view it as kind of the first ingredient in our secret sauce of digital marketing here at Perfect Patients.
Yeah,
And I'm
great.
Marky. I have been here for 8 years, and I lead the content team, which is myself, and then our in-house editors and writers and team of freelancers that we work with to produce all of the content that goes on our clients' websites and their marketing materials.
Yeah, and our content team is fantastic. And I'm sure many of you guys know our co-founder, Bill Esteb, is the content master. So content is truly at the heart of Perfect Patients here. So I'm excited to dive into this topic today. And hopefully those of you watching will walk away with some very specific ideas about how to maybe improve your own website content, social media content, whatever it may be, to be more authentic. So let's dive into that idea. The power of authenticity. What does it mean to truly be authentic in your content?
Well, I can get us started there. So, how we really think about it is that one of the most important things to remember is that authentic content isn't just about who you are, it's really about who your patients are and who you want to attract to your practice. So, your content should definitely represent you and your practice, but it also needs to connect with your desired market and what you're looking for and what they're looking for. So, the question becomes, how do you do that, right? A great place to start is by doing a self audit of your site if you have one. So while looking at what you already have, you can ask yourself questions about the images and the copy that you're seeing on your website, like, are the images reflective of the types of patients that you want to attract? For instance, if you're a family practice, do you have pictures of families and kids? Are your words on the site speaking directly to your desired patient group? Or are you using too many technical terms that they might not understand? So make sure that your images and copy are cohesive and work together. For example, if you cater to families, you definitely want to use family-oriented images and then write content that is supposed to resonate and connect with parents, because that's going to be your desired market and the people making decisions for who's coming to see you.
Yeah, and I
You're
know
probably
oftentimes it's easy to we want to talk about our specialty, ourselves, as a doctor, you want to, showcase all that chiropractic is and the amazing equipment that you have and all of those things. But that's not necessarily speaking to the patient that you want to attract. So while it may be authentic to what you do, it's maybe not authentic to the types of patients that you love seeing, and not going to resonate with them quite the same way as what we're talking about here.
Yep, that's exactly right. And I'll give you a few reasons why it even matters in the first place. So if you make sure that the content on your site is authentic, it's going to help you to build trust and credibility. So patients are going to be more likely to trust you if they feel like you're talking directly to them. It's also going to differentiate you from your competitors. So it can really set you apart in a crowded, dense market. It will also help you connect with your audience. So when your content resonates with them, they're going to be a lot more likely to engage with your practice.
I like that, in the mention of your competitors, because if every chiropractor, say within a specific area, they're going on about what is a subluxation, what is what is this equipment. That's great. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have that doesn't have a place on your site. But if all of your competitors have that, how can you stand out? What can you say that's different? You know, do you speak to the pain points of your patients so that when they see you, they go, oh, I'm in the right place?
Exactly.
That's
So
great.
that's something that our content team, our in-house team at Perfect Patients definitely focuses on for our clients. If you're not a client, there are a few practical tips that you can implement today to start to improve your copy. So I'll just give you a few of those. Number one would be avoiding, jargon and corporate speak. You want to talk like you're a real person. Use natural conversational language that reflects how you would actually talk to them if they were in your practice and you were meeting them for the first time. You can also share your story. So you want to make sure that your homepage or your About Us page kind of conveys your business origins, the mission, and the vision to create that personal connection with your target market. You want to make sure you define your values. So that means clearly stating your business values and ensuring that they're reflected in the copy. And like Randy just mentioned, you definitely want to address the pain points of your audience. So speak directly to them. Are they stressed? Are they in physical pain? Are they too busy to prioritize their health? Whatever their main problems are, you want to address those directly in the copy. And then lastly, try to overcome the barriers that your patients are facing. So addressing common barriers like time and money are going to be probably the biggest ones that you hear from patients. So if you offer late hours, weekend appointments, house calls, accept insurance, or if you have competitive cash rates, make sure that you showcase those features on your site.
That's great. That's great advice. All those things that make you unique. What is your unique selling proposition that's going to differentiate you from the doctor down the street? And make sure that that's very clear. Now, oftentimes, we talk about being authentic and speaking to your ideal audience, and some doctors have a bit of a fear of turning people away. Like they want to be all things to all people. And so it can be kind of hard to focus your content or want to focus everything on your website to this particular audience. But, we hear talk a lot about that's okay. And how do you guys deal with that in the content department? I mean, what is your advice to a doctor who's maybe a little bit leery of being too niche because they don't want to turn anyone away?
Well, you have to start somewhere. So your website does need a direction. So it can be a little more broad, like if you are a pediatric practice, maybe target whole families. And I actually have an example that I would love to walk through for a family practice that kind of shows all the things I was just mentioning and how you can do that same type of thing on your website. So let me share my screen. This is a website for a practice called Blossom Family Chiropractic. And from the get-go, before we read anything, you can tell that this is a family or pediatric chiropractor, right? This is a really great image. And that's kind of what I was talking about. A lot of people think of content just as words on the page, but it's definitely your images as well that can help convey that authenticity. So aside from the image, you see the first sentence right here. It's giving you the goal of the practice. They want to boost your family's brain health through nurturing care. And then when you scroll down a little bit, the next kind of blurb of text that you get is this easy to read chunk that explains a little more about the practice in very simple terms. And I think it's great that they're differentiating that they're about more than just back pain. So that's, a real big common misconception that I'm sure you have heard often. So making sure that people understand what your offering is pretty high up on the page is a goal that you should have.
That's great.
If we continue to scroll down a little more, the next section focuses on the type of patient that they want to see. So right here, from tiny tots to grownups, they want to enhance and ease tension for everyone.
Yeah, that's great.
And then we get into a little bit more about the doctor, which is always something we recommend doing on a homepage. we are saying, you know, that the doctor is qualified to help families and babies. It sounds like they're a parent themselves. They also talk about specific problems that parents are experiencing or that their children may be experiencing. So we're mentioning symptoms that are really going to resonate with who they want to help, like colic, constipation, nursing, and sensory disorders. And then we get down to this section that talks a little bit more about how we actually do it and how this practice is going to help you. So it lays out, you know, the advanced techniques that the practice has, but it keeps the copy easy for anyone to understand. And then, of course, down towards the end of the page, we've got some call to actions, super important, that we'll get into a little bit later in this webinar. And testimonials, which is another great way to showcase how you have helped people, just like the readers who might be consuming the content right now.
That's a great example. And I like how it spoke to the audience, right? It spoke to the parents at the very beginning. And then as they scroll down and are thinking, okay, this is resonating, then it gets into some of the technical stuff, right? Some of the techniques and the different things. And it kind of guides them on that journey. What is what's the recommended reading level for content on a website? I know that that's something that we keep in mind because we want it to be very consumable by any potential patient.
Yeah, so we aim for anywhere between an 8th to 10th grade reading level.
Okay.
And that's, you know, a range because it does depend on the practice and what your offerings are. For a family practice, simple, easy to read is definitely the way to go. For a practice that maybe is focusing on very specific neurologic techniques, it might be a little more advanced in the reading level. And that's totally okay because that's probably the type of patient that you want to attract.
Right. Okay. Now, the next kind of question that I have to kind of guide us along here is about AI. So I feel like you can't talk about content today without talking about AI because it's everywhere. And Erica, I know that you have, you know, a lot of experience with AI content and a lot that you can share with us there. What role should or should not should AI play in creating content, whether it's for your website, email, social media? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so AI is a super hot topic right now, and it can be overwhelming for chiropractors or any small business owner to know, like, should I be using this? Should I not be using it? How should I be using it effectively? So the way that I really like to answer that question when chiropractors do ask is I tell them to think of it as their superhuman first draft of content. It is a great way to get that first draft written quickly. But it should never be used just directly as is, no human checks done to it. It needs to be humanized. So I always recommend, I definitely encourage them, go in Chat GPT, go in Gemini, go in Copilot, you know, all the different mainstream AI tools that are out there. And it can definitely be a resource that is very helpful and can save you time. And, you know, maybe you have a goal of emailing your patients more often, but you're just really struggling to find the time. AI is a great tool for that. You can help you pick topics of emails that would be effective. It can help you write in different tones and voices, and you can get that awesome first draft and then just make a few modifications to make it sound more authentic and more like you, and boom, you're on your way.
I found AI is great for subject lines. If you're going to try to send an email and you know you want something kind of clever, catchy that will make your patients want to read it, ask ChatGPT.
Yeah, for social media captions, I'm going to show that in a little bit. It's just awesome if you struggle to come up with social media post topics or you know writing that caption to go along with the image that you want to post. So there's some really great uses for it that can save you some time. So I'll go ahead.
What do we need to be wary of though? Like, what are the things to be mindful of when using it? You said make it your own and customize it. What are the potential pitfalls maybe of just putting out a whole bunch of AI generated content?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Um, we never want to take a topic that's super generic and just create a whole bunch of content around it. So, maybe you have back pain or headaches or all the different conditions, and you could create a lot of content really fast, a bunch of blog posts, a bunch of web pages. But that's going to be really low quality content because there's not going to be any personalization to it. It's going to be very generic and it's
Mhm.
not going to be helpful. It's not going to answer the questions that your patients want to learn more about. So we really need to be mindful of that. And like I said, there's a lot of great uses for it, but we just want to be responsible and make sure that it does have that human touch and the
Okay.
editing that's needed.
So it's your superhuman first draft, but it's
First draft.
never your final draft.
Never your final
Straight out the gate. It's not your final draft.
Yep.
Okay. Um, so you mentioned Chat GPT and other platforms like that. Our Perfect Patients clients have access to a cool feature in their website dashboard. Do you want to share that with us?
Yeah, I'll show you around here quick. Yeah, so all Perfect Patient clients have the ability to load all of their patients' email addresses into their website console, and then they can email their patients directly from their website dashboard. So this little fun AI assistant tool we now have integrated into the email platform. So you simply start by clicking Help Me Write, and then it will prompt you with, okay, what do you want to write about? Are we writing a topic specific email, promoting an existing service, announcing a new service, special offer, or encouraging some patients to reactivate and book appointments? So let's choose announcing a new service. And from there, it will auto generate a strong prompt. And then we want to choose the writing tone. So we have a bunch of different options here. So we are going to let's pick caring. And for the style, we'll pick creative. Personalize the prompt. Then it's going to ask us specific details. So what is our new service that we're offering? So let's offer massage therapy. And then sharing any additional details. So let's have a $49 new client 30-minute massage special offer. Then we'll click OK.
Working its magic.
Working its magic, generating. So yeah, fills in an email subject line, relieve your pain with massage therapy at Chiropractic today. And then it gives you a great start to an email to patients that can announce your new service. So again, we wouldn't want to just generate this and send it off. You want to make sure that it truly conveys your voice and has all the correct information in there, but it's a great way to get started. So that's a great tool. And then another thing that I wanted to show while I have my screen up is how ChatGPT can be useful for social media ideas. So, for example, maybe you're just stuck and you don't know what to post about. So, I recently just went into ChatGPT and I asked it, you just started asking it questions. I said, can you write some topic ideas for some engaging social media posts for my chiropractic practice? And it came up with a ton of ideas. So, patient testimonials, share your success stories with their permission, include their testimonial in their photo or a video clip if they're open to that. Social proof is always a good way to draw in new patients. Chiropractic myths versus facts, debunk those misconceptions that are out there and educate people with informative posts. Give a behind the scenes of the day to day. Snap some photos of life behind the scenes at your practice. That can be showcasing the team, um, special features in your office, your technology, anything like that. Um, yeah, and there's just a ton. There's wellness tips, patient appreciation, staff spotlights, common conditions.
That's that's
So
great, because then you can take these and you can even narrow it down further, or focus in on one. Like, there was something there about a live Q&A. Well, say you want to, list out, like, these are the top 5 questions a new patient asks. Please write an individual post per question. These are my
yeah,
answers. Like, you can put in your info, your insights into ChatGPT and have it craft, a tailored caption. And that's one of the ways that this AI is very helpful, because coming up with good social media content is very, very time consuming. It can be.
exactly. And so yeah, so this was more of the general give me your ideas type,
Yeah.
prompt. And then from there, I took one of those topics and I said, well, can you write a compelling caption for Facebook specifically? I gave it the exact platform that provides a wellness tip or a healthy habit that's helpful for many people. And so then it gave me this sample caption with some hashtags for a Wellness Wednesday tip. And it focused
That's great.
on ergonomics and making sure that you take that time to check your posture and sit and stand up straight. Yeah, so this is just one example of a caption that it can create, and then obviously you can modify and personalize it from there. But just wanted to show you a little bit of
That's
ChatGPT.
great.
I'm sure there's many people out there that haven't played around with it at all yet. So there
Yeah.
are a lot of really cool things that it can do.
Yeah, it's definitely a great tool to have in your toolbox.
Mhm.
I don't think it doesn't replace human writing. It doesn't
No,
replace, comprehensive, interviews or what, to get great content for a website, but it is a pretty neat tool.
mhm.
Um, now so thank you for that. Thanks for that example,
Yeah,
Erica, and showing us how to use it. Um, Now, going back to actually crafting content, right? Um, how do we craft content that actually answers our questions? How do we know what our patients might be looking for, so that we can speak to them and hook them?
So you kind of have to think about what you're hearing from new patients. Like, what kind of questions do they come to you with? What kind of services are they looking for? And what kind of services are they most interested in? That's a great place to start when it comes to thinking about what you want to address on your website. There are kind of 4 steps that we think about internally when we are aiming to craft content that answers questions. And not only that, but converts visitors into new patients for you. And those kind of start with meeting the reader or the website visitor where they are on their journey. So by understanding, your potential patient's pain points, which we talked about earlier, um, you kind of want to address those, but not just stop there. If they're stressed out, you want to paint a brighter picture for the future. So meet them where they are, but then let them know how they can get better and what you can bring to their potential health and wellness after they receive care from you. You also want to make sure that you're staying positive in your copy. So if your patients are in physical pain or they're coming to you that way, you want to use positive messaging. So, you're here to support them. So you can show that on your website. Showing patient success stories is another great way to do that. Highlighting, stories of patients who have been in similar situations to someone who might be reading your website right now, and really showing their journey of how they progressed under your care. That's a great way to build trust and also show that care with your practice is effective. And then lastly, we do want to discuss specific conditions. You want to talk mostly about, what you're seeing most often in the practice and what you want to see in the practice, what you can help with. But just remember to keep it simple. So mention the conditions like headaches or migraines or whatever your focus is on the homepage, preferably, to quickly connect with visitors who might be experiencing pain like that. But really save the detailed and technical information for an individual service page, or even their first appointment when you can actually see them in person and connect with them on that one-on-one level.
Yeah, that's great advice. Now, how do we, so at Perfect Patients, if you when you sign up with Perfect Patients, you get, custom website design and custom professionally written content. Can you share a bit about our content process and how we get the authentic, high converting content that we do?
Yeah, definitely. So as a Perfect Patients client, we do all of the things that I just talked about by starting with a comprehensive content interview. So a team member actually has a phone call with you, and they start by asking you specific questions about your practice to understand exactly what your offerings, values, and target audience are. And then we take this detailed interview and we hand it over to our team of very talented writers. And they take those words from the interview and they transform it into compelling copy for every page of your website. So that's the homepage, about us, new patients, any services that you offer, and a contact us page typically. So this is kind of like a journey-based content strategy that really guides readers through your website. And the ultimate goal, of course, is to convert them into new patients. So we do that for our current clients. But if you're not a current client, there are a few tips that I can share with you for writing these high converting, compelling pages. So just a few kind of high level ones you could consider are just making sure that your current website has these clear, inviting headlines that are designed to grab attention right away. You want to make sure you've got some educational copy that gives your potential patient some information about what you offer. You could consider adding resources that would help a new patient understand what they need to know to join your practice, like new patient forms, how they can prepare for their first visit, and any frequently asked questions that you hear in the office. Chances are a lot of website searchers and visitors are going to have those same questions, so why not put them on your site? You also want to make sure every page has a call to action that encourages the person to book an appointment with you. And then the last thing to kind of consider is mobile optimization. So that means ensuring that the paragraphs on your website and the text are really easy to read on a mobile device, because chances are that's how a lot of patients are initially finding you, from their phone. So you want to break up the text and space it out for easy readability, so you don't end up with these big, off-putting, difficult to read sections.
Yeah, that's where compelling headlines are really powerful on mobile, because you really want to get a point across in that, because when you're just scrolling like this, that's what's going to catch your eye. When talking about content, I think we'd probably be remiss too if we didn't mention SEO. Because obviously it's about captivating your patients and getting them to convert, but there are SEO considerations. So what do we need to know about that?
Sure. So I think, some people might find it a little weird to save that till the very end, because I know a lot of prospective clients, this is always top of mind, right? SEO rankings, how can I get to page 1? But there is a reason that we saved it for the end of the webinar. And that's because content should always be written for patients first. The patients you want to see, you're not seeing Google, they're not coming into your practice. So if your copy connects with your audience and answers the questions that they're asking, you're already halfway there to good quality content that is going to have an SEO benefit. So it's always important to remember content first, SEO second. That being said, on-page optimization is still incredibly important. So here are just a few kind of quick on-page SEO checks that you can do after you've created this new helpful landing page or blog post or whatever piece of content you're putting on your website. You're going to want to avoid keyword stuffing. So you have a main keyword for your page, which is generally the topic, and you want to just use that as a typical rule of thumb. Use the keyword once for every 100 words on the page. If it's overused, replace it with different terms. So if you have a page or a blog post on the activator technique, and you're doing your final proofing and editing, and you see that your 300-word blog post has activator mentioned 10 times, you're going to want to scale that back a little bit and replace it with terms like instrument assisted or a no crack approach. Just kind of describe it a little differently. That's also something that Google will reward and likes to see, just different ways of presenting the information. Secondly, you're going to want to make sure you include a meta description in the piece of content that you're publishing to the website. That's just a short 160 character description that summarizes the page. And then third, add some links. So both internal and external links. These are links to other relevant pages on your site to keep readers engaged and distribute the link equity. You can also include some external links to other authoritative sources for added credibility. You don't want to go overboard there. So maybe just like one per blog post or one per page. But you don't want to send people, too far away from your website. You want them to find their way back and, of course, end up booking an appointment with you.
Yeah, I mean, internal links, you want them to be, well, any links, you want them to be very relevant, right? So if you mention, you're talking about activator technique and you mention headaches, then maybe link to the page you have on your website about headaches. It should make sense that the person that clicks it gets what they expect when they click on it.
Yes.
And that's the kind of stuff that Google likes too. It should be a natural journey for the visitor. That's great. Well, gosh, that was very helpful. I really appreciate you both joining us today to share a bit about content. It's definitely something that we're very passionate about here at Perfect Patients. If you are watching this and you're wondering, I don't know if my content is really appealing to my ideal patients, or I'm not sure that my website's really pulling all of its weight and attracting and converting patients, we are always happy to do a free website evaluation. We will meet with you, no obligation, but we'll go over your current site. We'll talk to you about your goals, what are your concerns, and we'll offer some very specific feedback on your current site. And you can do with that what you will. Obviously, we would love it if you want to learn more about our services as well. And we would love to craft very compelling, authentic content for a new website for you. Thank you, Marky and Erica.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.